I'm Gerald. This is
Leo.
And together we got 30 years in this dog game. Today, we're talking about something very important. The importance of obedience, but also protection training. So I want to introduce my guy, Lewis Williams of Black Mass Kennel, over here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
When I first met Lewis in 2010, I'm gonna put this on the record. He didn't know it, but he helped bring me out of depression. I had just got a dog named Roos. That dog was whack, but then I imported a red dog because I saw one of his clients had a European dog named Alonzo. With the assistance of Alonzo and Lewis, I was out of depression. I think I spent more time at your crib than my own crib. The crib I was in, I almost had to file bankruptcy for, foreclosure. He helped me get out of that. So to me, Lewis is a personal friend of mine. I'm always indebted to him, and I will always refer him business whenever people ask for dog training. I think to me, obedience and protection training is very, very important, especially when you're dealing with a working, protection bred dog. Alonzo, my best red Dobie, smartest Dobie I ever had in my life. There's one particular situation where I usually walk Alonzo in my neighborhood in Inglewood, up to no good, right? And I usually bring him from the backyard through the front door off leash. I don't need to put a leash on him while I'm walking through my house. What's the point, right? It's my crib. So the neighborhood I lived in, the houses are relatively very close to each other. But we never expect people to come to our house without being announced, because guess what? It's in a gated community. They come through the security gate, they gotta call me and say, okay, let them in. This particular day, as I was walking out the front door, guess who was walking to my door? A postman. Not just any postman, a black one. So what Alonzo do? He takes off and he jets right at him. That's what the postman do. He runs, right? And I was like, oh my God, this is not happening. I said, I'm gonna lose every little thing I got that I built back after losing everything. I train all my dogs in French commands because I don't want nobody knowing what the language is. Everybody know the universal down, stay, sit, and heel, but they're not popping off them French language. As Alonzo was running after the USPS guy, I said one word, couché. In French, that means down. And you know what he did while he was in pursuit? He got down. Now, had he not had obedience training, guess what would have happened? I'd have been sued, lost my homeowner's insurance, probably been kicked out of the HOA. I had to file bankruptcy like Hulk Hogan did when his kid killed somebody in his car. I would have to do it all over again. Do not ever get cheap when it comes to training. It's no different than you sending your kid off to college. He may turn out to be something, he may not. But guess what? Give that kid, or in this case, that dog, the opportunity to get educated and to get his full potential maxed out by a professional canine trainer. Me and Lewis was talking a couple of days ago about how the Bloods and Crips, or the Crips and Bloods, was about to get a right? And when they saw these two dogs, it was a different story. So Lewis, tell me about it.
Whenever I moved to a new neighborhood, I used to take my dogs walking so they'll know their way around the new neighborhood. And one particular time, I was walking my black German Shepherd and black female German, my black male and my black female German Shepherd in the Inglewood area, and I was on my way back. It was starting to get dark, and I noticed that there was like about 7 or 8 gangbangers, Bloods, in front of this apartment building. They was up in the yard, and it seemed like as I got closer to them, they got closer to the sidewalk. So something told me that, oh, these guys gonna try to jump me. So I said, oh boy, I'm finna put this training to the test. So I alerted my dogs. I told them, I alert them. But when I got to a certain point, those guys seen the dog and they just all like backed up. Nobody said nothing. Nobody started nothing. They just all moonwalked and backed up. It's nice to see 7 to 8 gangbangers moonwalk. You know, yeah. when their intention is to try to jump you, but because of my dog was a deterrent. They didn't want to do anything.
To me, from my perspective, when you're doing protection training, you're also doing obedience training at the same time, because you are teaching your dog to help to identify what's a threat and what's not a threat.
Not a
right.
threat.
So, Lewis, tell us the importance when you're getting a working dog or a protection bred dog, the importance of both and not just one or the other.
A working dog, okay, yeah. Whenever you want to, if you just want to pet something like that, then you would get just a show line dog. But if you're the type of person, you're an active person, and you want something more protective at home, then you want to get the working bloodline, because the working bloodline is more protective. You can train them for protection and stuff like that. So you got to know the different types, show line and working line. So you never want to get show line if you want a protection dog. Right. You always want to get working bloodline.
What do you think that is the number one reason why people who get working dogs don't want to do protection training? Whether it's a pit or a Cane Corso, Malinois. I see a lot of Malinois being bought now, and people just want them to be pets. Like it's not happening.
Well, the thing is that, it's according to your lifestyle, and it has a lot to do with the person, certain neighborhoods, in my opinion, require a protection dog because, people are constantly trying to break in your house, break in your car, get, like I said, when I was walking home, these guys was going to try to jump me one time. And I have seen people even get robbed in broad day in the park. As an older person, like I'm 63 years old, I want to be able to go to the park and not get robbed.
Yeah.
So I take my dog, my protection dog with me, and I don't have to worry about nobody even thinking along that line of wanting to do something to me because they know I have this protection dog.
Yeah, my thing is, and I want you to chime in, Leo, is that at some point, these dogs are going to get off that leash. My question is, when they get off that leash, are they going to listen to you? Yeah. Because there's a lot of distractions out there that they get out there in the world that they don't get in the house. They may get other dogs running across the street. They may get kids playing with frisbees. I don't know what neighborhood you live in where they play frisbees, but you go frisbees, balls, bats, bikes. It can be a lot of things. What can we do to desensitize these dogs, Lewis, so they won't respond and react in a way where it's a liability?
Well, you're supposed to socialize your dogs with your environment. Taking your dog out, taking him to different parks, take him around, let him hear the ambulance, let him hear the helicopter, let him hear kids playing in the park. He needs to hear all these things so he can know that the kids in the park, playing in the park is not a threat. The helicopter is not a threat. The ambulance is not a threat. So once you get your dog used to the environment, which is, like I said, we're supposed to socialize the dog, and then your dog is stable. So your dog don't have to worry about going after a ball, or if going to go buy some kids, because if they grew up in that environment, they cool with it. They know it's not a big deal.
You gotta get them familiar with the
environment.
The environment,
yeah.
For sure.
You know what I do with my puppies that I do with all dogs that I have, right? While I'm feeding them and while they're eating, I take the food away and I bring it back, because it can be any time that any kid or somebody can pick up something that they are definitely zoned in on,
right.
And I don't want them getting their hand bit off, right? When I hear, the dog attacked my child or whatever, boy, is he trained where you can pick the bowl up while he's eating?
Right.
Those kind of things. And to me, it's like, when I met Lewis up there in Stockton La Brea, I remember they was doing group training, like class training, where they had like 10, 12 dogs. And most of the dogs were rescued dogs, rescued grown dogs. And then I saw Lewis and Leonard on the other end of the field, and they had this dog named Musa, a Doberman, and this dog was like running like full speed with a parachute on, going after the dumbbell, coming back. And this is when, this was exciting to me versus going this, sit your dog on the stage, sit your dog on the hill. I mean, that's cool.
It was all over, huh?
Yeah, it was like, you know what? I fell in love with that, because that's the reason why I bought that dog. I always say, why buy a Corvette and you never put it on the highway?
That's true.
What's the point?
To keep it in the garage, huh?
Yeah, what's the point? You bought that car because when you want to be able to go what? Fast. Right. People have the misconception. Like, what's interesting is that when we do post videos of some protection work, whether it's table work, whether it's flanking work, agitation work, there's a veracity of people that talk about how cruel and vicious. Even with the treadmill, that's a manually operated treadmill, they think is cruel. People, can you find out and see in the videos of how the police departments get their dogs ready for the unknown? You'll
never see that.
You'll never see it.
What's going on behind the doors? Yeah.
Right. So, Lewis, how do they get dogs prepared when you're talking about PD? You've trained some PD dogs. What is the process that people don't know of?
Well, so, everybody got their different style. KMPV got their different style of how they get dogs to a certain point. The police got their style of how they get their dogs to a certain point, and every dog is different. Some dogs are naturally defensive, so you don't need to go put them. All you got to do is enhance what's already in it. Some dogs are not, so you may have to go and put defense in that dog. Some dogs are more prey driven than defense.
Yeah.
So,
But what do you think they do as far as getting them ready for like clearing a building?
man, they probably do a little some of everything, man.
Yeah,
Don't tell
yeah,
me.
yeah.
It's a boot camp. Huh?
Yeah, it's like a miniature Navy SEAL type
Navy SEAL
situation.
type
Yeah. You won't catch all of them.
Because one thing, you cannot make a tough dog
Tough.
pampering him.
Yeah.
You're just not going to get a tough dog pampering him all the time.
Yeah. Leo, what has been your experience with untrained versus trained dogs? So you got a plethora of dogs.
I can tell you plenty of that. You see, the thing is, if you don't train the dogs, I'm gonna tell you one thing. It happened to me, and it was right about, they were like about 9 or 10 months. My boys, just like Gerald do, he go outside and he doesn't put leash on these dogs. Well, I did the same thing. Well, I was doing the same thing all the time.
You do it right
Yeah,
now.
and I was doing, yeah. And the thing is, and it was one day that we had a gardener, and the gardener, usually when the gardeners comes, they go straight to the backyard, so they don't have to go to the front door. And when they come in the backyard, I always get the dogs inside. Well, I saw the gardener. He actually came up. He parked the little van yet. And I saw them. I got the dogs inside the house, and I was like, okay, so now since they're working in the backyard, I'm gonna get outside and I'm gonna just take them to the park and take them somewhere else. I'm gonna get them in the truck and just go for a ride. So when I opened the door, and like I said, like Gerald said, he didn't put leash on the dog. I didn't put leash either. I'm thinking I'm gonna get the dogs and they will go straight to the truck. I had we'll open the door and they go straight inside. Well, as soon as I opened the front door, well, guess what? The gardener was not in the backyard. The gardener was right in front of my door with the blower on and a bandana on. You know, when they blow and stuff, they trying to cover themselves up so they don't get no dust and all that. As soon as my dog saw that, it was, they just stopped for 1 second. And the first one, it was a Tommy. Tommy just looked at him, growled a little bit, and I was like, oh no. As soon as I was trying to grab him, he just went at him. Grabbed him by his arm first. Dragged him all, and he was a little guy, small guy, you know what I mean? So he dragged him, he put him right on the floor. Same time, I'm trying to hold him, but I'm holding Tommy by the legs, and so stop. Couché, nothing worked. No couché.
No couché.
No couché. No stowing, no nothing. No Russian language, no Balkan language, nothing worked. Well, at the same time, Diesel went on him. Oh man!
So 2 dogs on his ass.
It was 2 dogs, and both of them not trained. They're the only.
So they didn't have no training.
No, they didn't have no training.
Oh, okay.
Then after that, I was trying to train them. You know,
After they had taste the blood, right?
They taste the blood, but it was too late. They already dismantled the guy, so they took out his clothes. The guy had no clothes on him. I had to pick him. I had to actually start hitting my dogs and stuff to get them. Finally, one by one, I got him off, but it was too late. He had no clothes on him. So the guy was so injured. Actually, I had to pick him up and put him in his own vehicle. You know.
And say adios.
Never saw him again. It's not that I see him again or not see him again, but this type of things will happen if you don't train your dogs for sure.
Yeah.
And when they happen, just because I didn't go to court for that particular case, you will go to court for if your dogs would do something like that.
And a lot
because they're your responsibility.
Yeah.
They're really your responsibility. And when they taste the blood, then after that was you saw Diesel. Diesel is still sketchy. I'm still working on them. Now they're socialized. They know how to, they will listen now.
Yeah.
They will listen, but I had to put a hard work in. And this one they were already almost right around 12 months,
And a lot of time, male dogs take a long time to mature, a lot longer to mature than female dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, they get in that puppy mentality.
Yeah.
For at least, I know most of my boys have been in puppy mentalities till like they're about 2.5, 3. Then it clicks.
The thing is, when you have couple, if you have one, you can kind of maybe more control it. But if you have 2 or 3 dogs and stuff, and then if one of them attacks or whatever one does, the other one wants to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's a pack.
It's a pack, and that's the problem.
Yeah, right.
So when you have something, that you have like a dangerous machines in your house. Get the training, train them, because if you don't train them, things like that will happen. It doesn't have to happen in the people. They can happen. They can do They can attack another dog. They can attack a cat. They can attack anything.
It's a million situations can happen.
I'm just giving you an example, guys. So get your dogs trained, because if you and besides that, they were bred to be killing machines, and they're actually made to scare people off and made to do this. They have it in them already. It doesn't. The show line, yes, you can separate the dogs between the show lines, and you can separate the dogs with the working lines and stuff. But I will tell you, even the show lines, they have it in them. They'll attack. See what I'm saying? Even those you got to do some kind of training. You got to trying to control your dog somehow. So do some kind of training. Obedience, I will go with obedience, number one. Just get the basic ones, you know what I mean? So they will listen when stuff like that happen. They will listen, because they will, if you have a 12 years or 15 years of commitment with the dog and stuff, you know you're going to spend all your time, the 12 years with your dog and stuff. You better try to have them to listen to you. Yeah. Because they do have tendency not to want to listen.
I remember when Dr. Bill Rutherford had the Dobermans, right? The reason why I decided to get European Dobermans, and he was telling me a story, I think he was telling to Lewis, was somebody, and I was around when I was hearing the story, he said that he was in the process of moving, and he put Musa in a down position watching the movers move the furniture.
Well, the story he told me is like he had some work done at his office. And I don't know if that's the same story, but he had some work done at his office, and when it got time to pay, there was a disagreement on the pay. So, and what he told me, they were trying to get more money out of him, and so they were arguing back and forth, and they couldn't, So the dog just happened to be in the office. The dog heard them arguing, so the dog come out of the office, and he come down this long hallway. He see this big Dobie come down the hallway, and they immediately agreed on the price.
Everything was cool.
Everything was cool. He called me. He said, "You know what? Dogs are anger management." That was his word.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, Musa was a real dog. He didn't mess around. He wasn't no lovey-dovey. He was all about work. It was a very impressive dog.
And the beauty that I do love about Dobie is that they love their owner.
Yeah.
Man, you talking about when a dog that really loved his owner, because this guy here, I would keep the dog majority of the time. He would get him on the weekends, but it seemed like the dog know when he gonna pick him up. He started dancing, he started running around. He just know the routine. He started getting all happy, dancing, running around. He know his owner finna come pick him up. And I have majority of the time, but he'd be so happy to see his owner. It was a trip to see.
Brody and Casanova and all the dogs that Al has trained, they are the same way. Like, because Al makes it a point, like, he's not trying to be the dog's friend. He's there to train them. Right. So when they see Al, like, oh, here we go again.
We go
right, like the coach. He's like the coach.
Man, I'm telling
the coach. He's like the coach.
They think. So when they see me, they know they ain't gonna listen to what I'm saying. They're gonna act like children. They're gonna jump around, and they're gonna do all.
They're gonna get a lot of love with you.
Yeah, and they're gonna get away with the stuff that Al literally put the boogeyman on them. I wouldn't do it, right? So to me, I think that is a perfect fine line where the dog can differentiate between, okay, he's my trainer, but this is my daddy. Right. And that part right there comes with building a bond with your dog first.
That's right. Yeah.
Once you build a bond with your dog, it's unbreakable, right?
You can never break it.
Can never break it. So for me, I this whole dog experience, I haven't told many people this on film, but I used to trip like when people was crying about dogs dying. I'm like, it's just a dog. Get another one. But when Alonzo passed away,
I know you feel.
I realized, like, man, this is real, because one thing dogs do that humans can't possibly do is that they stay consistent. You can be gone for 5 minutes, 10 hours, 10 months, 10 weeks. They're gonna come back to you at that door when you walk in as if you just left a minute ago.
Yeah.
But also too, just think about if that dog saved your life one time. You got a special bond with that dog. This dog kept you from getting killed or injured. You got a special bond with that dog.
That's true. And think about, like, I mean, I don't know any one person in my life that stayed consistent. I mean, everybody from our mothers, fathers, brothers, we've all had some inconsistencies.
Roller
Yes.
Right?
But a dog, when he's not coming to that door with his tail like this, you know something's wrong with him physically. We already know.
He's sick.
We playing Dr. Bombay already.
That's
like, okay,
right.
something's wrong with the dog, right? Because that's not normal for him.
But not only that, dog can send something if you're sick.
Yep.
Because my assistant Leonard, his thing was pit bulls.
Prowl.
And-
You're talking about Panthro.
The Panthro.
Yeah.
He said every day he come out, he opened up the door, Panthro run downstairs, trying to, I guess he want to chase a cat or whatever, find out who in the yard or whatever,
Squirrels.
the squirrels or whatever.
Get them all.
And this one particular day, Leonard said he came out the house and he wasn't feeling good, and he kind of like sat on the I guess like midway in the stairway, and like I said, he said like every day he would let the dog out. The dog would immediately run down them stairs to go find out who's in the yard. But this particular day when Leonard wasn't feeling good, the dog ran halfway and came back and stayed with him. So he knew something was wrong.
Animals and dogs, they're like it's
desensitization.
definitely a man's best friend. It's just,
Exactly.
No
Exactly.
doubt. And they'll be with you through your highs and lows, man. And your life revolves around the safety and the upkeep of this animal. Like I can't go out of town without like, okay, what I'm gonna do with my dog.
They become
Exactly.
you, man. They become you. I always tell people, so they become you.
So now we're gonna take an intermission. Lou's gonna go to get the dog, put him in down position.
OPA. Now this is my protection dog, Prince. I see. OPA. I see rest. You see he has no e-collar, nothing on, and he's not trying to bite anybody. You ain't seen him growl. Come up here, get up here. Come on, OPA. Come here, OPA. No, come here, OPA. Couche. Voila. So this is my first protection dog. You see he ain't trying to bite nobody. He ain't trying to, only if I give him the command. I can take him around. I can take him anywhere I go, airplane, bus. He's going to behave.
And this is one of the desired dogs by the most police departments.
Exactly. This is a Belgian Malinois. He's 3 years old.
Is he a part of the Dubois line?
He's not part of the Dubois. He's got another bloodline in
It's
it.
just so crazy how they go from like being relaxed and then all of a sudden when they need to attack, they just go boom. Like
OPA. So just when you talk in terms of a personal protection dog, it doesn't mean the dog got to be aggressive, crazy, biting dog. The dog can be just like this, under control, not. But if one of you guys try to grab me, then you're gonna see a different dog.
I'm sitting right here.
He's gonna be obedient. He's gonna be cool. Good boy. Let's go.
that's crazy how they.
But at the same time, I can OPA. Awa. Good boy. OPA. OPA.
That's some real be real, brother.
He didn't like the bloods, huh?
Thanks for the demonstration.
Yeah.
And people think that, that only takes 1, 2, 3 months.
No.
It takes a lot longer. Typically, I would say what? How many months? 6 months to a year?
Well, number one, training starts as soon as you get him. So I'm gonna start socializing, have him. That's why I'm able to bring him. He's stable around people. He don't feel intimidated because he's around people. Dogs like that feel intimidated, feel like they gotta bite him because you too close, you too much in my zone. No, he's been stable. He's been around people.
This is the number one thing that pisses me off about people when it comes to protection and obedience training cost. When I tell people, when they ask me how much an individual charges, I said, I don't know. I said, but listen, he's gonna save you from losing everything you own. You know what I mean? And listen, he said, well, I don't want to spend no more than $400. I said, that's some Petco stuff, man. That's some puppy package. This is you're not gonna get what you want in a 2-month period for no grand. This dogs are trained as they get older, the more stuff is done.
And then how much your life is worth?
Exactly. How much your livelihood is worth.
How much your life is worth?
Right. So for me,
Put a price tag on it? No.
I mean, listen, and I tell people, I said, listen, now we got these gigabyte gangsters, right? Gigabyte gangsters. They think they can learn how to train a dog by watching YouTube. There's a lot of things you can learn on YouTube, like you're learning from us right now. But some things you need hand-on training. You're not gonna be a licensed electrician on YouTube. You're not gonna be a licensed union welder on YouTube. You need hands-on training.
Exactly.
Right? So for me, it's like, it bothers me when, like I've seen it before, when you gave people the brochure, what levels of training, how much something costs, and then we never see them again. And then that dog go out, it runs away, never come home. It gets hit by a car, or it get ate up, or it get mauled by coyotes, or it bites somebody. Right. And now those people are homeowners about to lose their home. And it's no different, people, than all these granola, plain yogurt people paying all this tens of twenties of $30,000 in tuition for their kids, and their kids end up robbing a liquor store 5 years later. $100,000 education, go down the train. You got it. It's almost like you're buying insurance, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance, whatever your situation is. You got to believe in it. You can't touch it. You can't smell it. You got to believe in it. And training is the same thing. It's not just training a dog one time, 2 years, and that's it. These dogs, as we talked about, it's continuous training.
And I just want to say this: even when you get a protection dog is a deterrent. It keeps you out of trouble. It keeps people from coming over your wall, breaking your house. It keeps a person coming trying to your wife and do something to your kids. Yeah. It keeps you out of them situations because they know. And
it keep you from using your gun.
Keep you from using your gun.
Yes.
And the burglar tell you, they'll go, if there's a house where a dog is, they're not going to that house.
They're going to the next house.
They're going to the next house.
I don't live in the most desired neighborhood, but I don't live in a bad neighborhood. But I can promise you one thing. Nobody has tried to come in the yard, in the fence, at the door, or just tripping.
It's not going to happen.
It's not happening. It's not going to happen. And they're going to and my dogs are going to give me 10 seconds to get ready. That's all I need is 10 seconds.
Listen. They hear that dude walking down the street. They hear him way before he gets to the house.
They already know. Yeah. They already know.
People who have guns, like I'm a gun owner, you're a gun owner, you're a gun owner. They have, a lot of people have guns in these safes, these fingerprint safes. I don't want to be looking at the safe trying to figure out what the code is. I'm sleeping with my by the damn nightstand. I'm going to give you 3, 4, 5 seconds. Because that's how long it takes for them to get in that house.
I don't want to use it. I don't want to use a gun.
But you're not going to have to worry about it because your dog stay in the house. Who will come to the house? Who come to the house?
Listen, whoever is trying to get in your house who knows you have a dog that is going for blood, he's signing a death warrant.
The only thing that I always worried about, I always trying to see if you're not home and you have your dogs running around. Let's say you have a couple of dogs. Now and I've heard stories, and they will actually try to poison a dog real fast. They gonna, they throw them a meat and stuff.
Good point.
That's a very. I just
good
want to bring
point.
It up now. You got
good point.
Now to teach them. There's another thing. That if you invest in your dog, make sure you teach that dog not to be grabbing food from anybody else.
Good point. That's another thing. In one of Lewis's training classes, we teach food refusal. Yeah. That's
a huge.
I remember Lewis is teaching. This is basic training with Lewis, teaching dog food refusal. He would throw something down, and it could be some bread, some hot dogs. They love hot dogs, and we say leave it, and that dog learned to not touch that food. So now, when you leave, that command says leave it. When you leave your house, anybody who throw food over the fence, they're not touching.
You need to take it a step further, letting somebody throw food over your gate, but after a while, a dog will forget
that he was on command.
Yeah, and go eat it. So you got to make sure that. You got to do your work at home, have someone throw food over the gate, and let it sit there for a while. And if he try to go to it, you got to let him know no. So, because like I said, the food could be sitting there all day, and then he might go eat it later. So you got to teach him not to never go for that food.
That's true.
That's what happened to Quiz Schwarzkopf, the Schwarzkopf guy.
Yeah, Quiz. Yeah,
they actually poisoned. I think it was like 6 or 7 dogs died. They actually threw a bunch of poisoned meat and stuff.
Hater Nation.
Yep. They hated him or something. I don't know what.
That's a good point. And I'm glad you brought this up because I remember, I'm not going to name his name, but I remember we was talking, good dude. He said, I need to come to your house. He's a real good decoy. A hell of a decoy. Animated as hell. And he said, well, Gerald, you know what? I need to come to your house and with my bike suit on and just start moving stuff around, creating ruckus. So we wanted to reenact a home invasion at the house.
Just to see what,
and it happened, and it was dope because now we see where our dog, where he's the most comfortable in, how will he respond when somebody comes in his territory inside the house. So we did that. It was dope.
If an earthquake happened or if a fire happened, what to do. Practice if someone breaking the house too. Yep. Practice that too, so your dog know exactly what to do. Or like you got your backyard back here, there's a lot of high spots back here.
Especially if you live in LA, I would say.
So you got to have a dog back here because you got too many hiding spots back here. A person can hide, you come back in, they knock you in the head.
But it's important how you as the owner teach people how to approach you when you have a dog. Right. A lot of times, a lot of granola, plain yogurt eating people come up to you, oh, can I pet your dog? And then your dog is smiling.
They go to pet, they pat them right behind.
They're like, who are you? Well, wait a minute, you're coming at me incorrectly. Greet me. You don't hug strangers without talking to them first. Part of the training is we do handshakes in front of each other. Our dog goes into a sit position first. And then if you want to give my dog a treat, I give you a treat to give to him. Right. But you're not giving my dog no Jolly Rangers. It ain't happening. Right. That's also part of training, part of the basic club, like Lewis's club, where they teach you introductions on how to not only be in front of people, but also introducing people with other dogs.
Right. But also, let me add too, if I got a protection dog, you're not going to feed him.
No.
You're not gonna, now if I just have a regular pet, I don't care. But my personal protection dog, you're not gonna feed him. Yeah. Only person feed him is me.
The canine training is, and listen, all hats off to all the trainers: Oscar, Lewis, Mac, Sykes, Adrian, Al. All of them been doing good work, right? And they've been staying consistent. There's so many layers of this training because you are buying a liability. It's not a requirement here in the United States to own a dog. Even blind folks don't have to have a dog. It's a liability. And you have to be able to make sure that your dog is an extension of you and not a liability of you.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Because when you look at the basic obedience, you're thinking about how the dog walks on a leash. No, it's a lot more involved. Like, will the dog, because, kids do things without a conscience. They want to come up to the dog. They want to grab the dog's ears, hit the dog in the back. And you need to make sure your dog is desensitized to these environments.
Not to respond to those.
There's certain dogs that I have that you cannot, I won't put him in that position.
You already know.
Yeah, like my Roddy. I won't go to the Grove and let granola people pet on my dog because they seen Roddy's all the time. No, he's a different dog. So you have to know your dog too.
You gotta be a responsible owner. If you know your dog bites and stuff like, and you gonna have him around crowd, you gotta put a muzzle on him.
Yeah.
You gotta do the right thing. If you want to have him in this type of environment, then you got to make sure that the people are safe, your dog is safe, and we don't have no incidents where somebody get bit.
Yeah, because once you get bit, whether it's a scratch, animal control gets involved. You get a long a long list of fines, and it's the rabies, and then your insurance, your homeowner insurance.
They'll send
gets canceled.
They'll send detectives first in the house.
Yeah, so
investigators and shit. They'll send all kinds. of
so
stuff.
it's don't look at it as it's I'm spending $1,000 or $2,000 and no, you're spending money for something that's gonna die for you. These animals will die for you. How many humans that would die for you on this planet?
It's really cheap because you figure this dog is gonna watch your house 24 hours a day. He's gonna protect your kids and your family 24 hours a day. So you can't buy. I mean, that's You can pay for security. That's gonna cost you way more. It's gonna cost you way more. Obedience is one thing, control is another. You can have obedience in the dog, but you don't have control. I always want to think as a protection dog, it's a deterrent. Keep your family safe, keep you out of situation, keep people from thinking they can rob you and beat you down in public and stuff like that. It's just a deterrent.
Especially when you have this type of dogs. We're talking about Dobies, Roddies, Mullinwoods. You have a killing
Dutch
machine in your
Shepherds.
house. You got
a killer.
Yeah, you got a killer in your house. You got a killer, and if you can't control it,
control it with your words,
with
it's words.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Man,
words are powerful.
Man, these dogs know even sometimes they even know what you're feeling. They'll even know when you look at them and stuff. You're trying to tell them to stop. You know what I mean? Like I've seen it happen. But the thing is that's beyond different trainings. But trying to train your dogs, because if you don't train your dogs, something will happen. Eventually, something will happen. In 10 years or 12 years,
something will happen. And I always say this. I said, listen, at some point, your dog going to get out of that yard. He going to get out of that house, whether it's through the screen.
Or somebody else will come in.
Or somebody, he's going to get out. Or he's going to get off that leash. Or that leash is going to fall out your hand. The question is he going to listen to you when he comes off? Right. And also, remember, he's got 4 legs. You only got 2. Thanks for tuning in again. Next episode coming again. Want to say special thanks to Lewis Williams of Black Mass Kennel. His information will be listed in the caption below. Follow him on Instagram. He may take a damn near week to get back to you on the message, but he'll get to you. Anyway, thanks for coming out. God bless.